Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. And today I have a replay sent in from NTG Golfman, who is playing a Moskva. And the original email that was sent in asked if there was something more that could be done for, I guess, this game, and whether it was done well or there's some mistakes. So I figured I was going to do something very similar to the video that I made for Crystal's Friedrich the Grosse game, where I'm going to, go through this match, try to break it down individually, and talk about things that I think went right and things that went a little bit wrong. The first thing I notice right off the bat is that there's only 3 consumable charges, so I'm going to assume that there is no superintendent run on this captain, so possibly this is not a high point captain. Not 100% sure, but I do think, Golfman, if you are running a Moskva captain, you probably want that extra charge of heal. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. Now, right off the bat, there's already, I guess, the first little bit that kind of alarms me is Golfman is making a very, very aggressive play towards the island here at E8. Now, this is a very aggressive play, and I'm almost wondering if the point of this really aggressive play is to try to get himself into a position where he can use his radar on D. I'm not sure if that's the goal, but it's a very aggressive position. Typically, I don't like taking Moskva into such an aggressive position, especially very early on in the game. One, you don't really have good intelligence on sort of where enemy ships are. You're not sure if anybody's going to have a better shot on you from a different direction that you're unexpectedly going to maybe take. It's just there's a degree of uncertainty that I don't like playing with the Moskva, and Moskva really needs some degree of certainty because if you're caught on the side, Moskva can eat massive amounts of damage. She does have relatively soft sides. She's okay when she's bow in and sort of using that good frontal armor profile to kind of keep herself alive, but if you get caught from the side, Moskva dies very, very quickly. So it is a good idea to have that island to the left where Golfman's got it right now, because it does at least prevent anybody from going onto that side and getting shots in. Still, this position is very aggressive. Yeah, I would not be in this kind of position in the early game. It's just too uncertain. The best way to kind of keep track of where the enemy team are is to do a quick count of ships on the enemy team in relation to your team. So if you take a quick look on this side, you'll see that the Worcester is there, the Marceau was there, right? And they have the Montana, Salem, a Gearing, and another Moskva. So they have a total of 6 ships on this side, where Golfman's team's got himself a Hindenburg, a Smala, and a Conqueror, and a Holland Yamato that's still sort of in the middle, not really sure if they're fully engaging into the side or not. So at best, this is like a 6-on-6, and at worst, it's a 6-on-4. So not exactly a time I'd be, let's say, wanting to play so aggressively. It's kind of dangerous. Enemy Moskva also does something very, very questionable here. It does come out, offers a very juicy broadside to Golfman. So Golfman is, of course, going to try to punish this Moskva here. I'm just not really sure what that Moskva's plan is there. Just no idea. This is very confused to play. You don't really want to do that in a Moskva. Like I said, early game, it's better to utilize the range that you have, stay a little bit further back, get a little bit better intelligence before deciding to commit to any type of move. Moskvas, like Stalingrad as well, these ships tend to get stronger as the game progresses, because as the game progresses and they get better and better types of positions, they're more and more likely to find ideal places to shoot from and to keep themselves safe at exactly the same time. So it's usually better, I would say, to kind of, be more aggressive later on. At the beginning, a little bit more safe is probably a good idea. That Moskva, for example, just not playing safe at all. This is the problem with exposing your side. If you get caught on the side, a Moskva can get punished really, really hard. Just not the hardest side, and if you are going to maintain a relatively stationary position like that Moskva is doing, you do want to do it with some kind of island cover to the side. Okay, so enemy Montana is also making a very aggressive play here, so I'm not particularly sure what on earth is going on with this enemy team and why they're playing so aggressively. Yeah, that Moskva, yeah, you want to take it down as much as you can in the early stages because you've already had it damaged so much. You want to take out that ship. The Yamato on Golfman's team right now, actually in a decent position if he just sort of holds there. Be okay to engage this Montana here, because the Montana really has to either keep going forward and charge down Golfman, or he's got to turn in to engage this Yamato here. Yamato actually does have an okay advantage right here. I mean, don't show the cheek too much and you should be okay as a Yamato. I mean, so far things are looking all right, actually. I mean, it's 2 for 2 ships on both sides. That's fine. But the Moskva's gone down here. So this flank, and of course the Montana is misplaying horribly. So if the Yamato plays correctly, just by pointing his bow towards the Montana and just utilizing Overmatch, this side should have won very, very comfortably. Of course, you know, World of Warships. The play things correctly and do things correctly almost never happens. You know, the Marceau's going to pop out. You know what's happening there. The Marceau's dropping torpedoes. That's a certainty there. No idea why this Yamato keeps charging. There's just no point. You could just sat back and overmatch them on Montana to death and even have to worry about the torpedo threat. So that's a massive misplay by that Yamato. They're throwing a ship away for absolutely nothing. Golfman's team is down 4 ships to 2 now. I mean, the Montana's still in a bad position. There is the Worcester that came out there, but unfortunately Golfman only had HE loaded. If it AP loaded, I might have taken a shot at that Worcester first, but it's okay. Just keep focusing this Montana down. Still, this flank is entirely winnable. Once the Montana dies, if you take a look at the ships available, you've got a Hindenburg, a Conqueror, a Smolensk against a Goering and a Salem, and that's an easy fight. Hindenburg, all it has to do is just charge forward, rush the Salem down and torpedo it, and it's over. Smolensk with its radar can easily engage on the Goering, and then Smolensk's radar plus Hindenburg firepower, that side should have collapsed immediately. The Conqueror really could, you know, very easily either, you know, push down that flank and continue to support and take out the Salem, or come back over this way and start helping out with whatever's over on this flank. So this is an easy flank to win. So once the Montana goes down right here, the Moskva should, yeah, really just, you could just turn around and start heading towards the other flank, because the other flank is in trouble right now. You can see there's a Holland Thunder, Petropavlovsk, a Zao versus what looks like a single DM and the Zao, and the DM is probably going to go down now. Actually, DM takes down the Hollands. That's good. So there's no Holland anymore on the other flank. So realistically, the other flank is weaker, and you know, if I was playing the Moskva right now, I would start to think, okay, if I can take down whatever's in front of me, directly in front of me, I will start to work my way over to the other flank. Okay, there we go. Both the DM's down now, and the Zal's probably not going to last very long. Okay. So that's fine. I mean, AP is loaded. This is good. The consumable, extra consumable would really be useful. That's another thing to keep in mind. Because right now, down to only 1 charge for radar and hydro. So, yeah. Okay, good salvo on the Worcester. Worcester goes down. So right here, with the Worcester down, the Marceau being where the Marceau is, there's a very awkward position. I would cut right through the middle right there, and probably start finding a way to, you know, either engage the Marceau or at least start heading north a little bit, so I can create a new blocking type position against whatever is going to be coming my way. Of course, you can do everything correctly in World of Warships. You really can. You can do everything correctly in World of Warships, and your team can still find the absolute most amazing ways to screw up. The first one is the Smolensk has taken its real sweet time engaging the Goering, which is fine. I mean, the Goering goes down. So there's really only the Salem left, and you'd figure that right now, with the Hindenburg there, that this should be a relatively easy fight. Yeah, no, the Hindenburgs is very distracted. This Hindi is incredibly distracted, trying to torpedo the Marceau, not shoot the Marceau, torpedo the Marceau. Oh my god. Okay, wow. I'm sorry. Okay, I should not be so mean. Oh. I have no words for that. He's trying to torpedo destroyer that is, oh my lord. See, all the things that Golfman doesn't have, right? Notably the small issue with not having the right skills, or maybe slightly mispositioned. Like, those are small things. A Hindenburg completely failing in that regard is just absolute massive failure. Anyhow, this should not have been the responsibility of Golfman. The Salem really should have been the responsibility of the Salem and the Conqueror, because they were on that side of the flank. This should not have been the Moskva's responsibility. And the problem, of course, is having the Moskva turn around back, you know, to deal with this, is that the Moskva has now taken essentially all of his sort of tankiness, the fact that he's got that long range spam, he's got that radar, taken that out of the fight that's now coming towards the B cap from the A side. Smolensk gets lost for absolutely no reason, because again, had the Hindenburg come this way, Hindenburg can take down a Salem without any issues whatsoever. Of course, like I said, their Hindenburg is a very special Hindenburg. Um, and if you actually pay attention to the map, the Hindenburg is I think he's trying to single-handedly charge down a Petro, a Thunderer, and a Marceau. That is not going to go well. And, you know, again, tier 10 Hindenburg throwing his ship away. Conqueror's decided to retreat. Another one of those, like, why are you retreating kind of things. Like, why are you even coming this way? You don't need to be this way. You need to head north, and you can act as a blocking force so that you can still maintain your CV in this fight. And like I said, you know, this Salem fight really shouldn't have been Golfman's fight at all. So having, you know, this Moskva chase all the way back here is not worth it. And it's unfortunately the Salem being there is still a threat, right? Even if the Moskva right now were to turn around to do something else, this Salem can come around and basically be a very, very pesky thing on the flank. The combination of AP plus HE DPM is absolutely massive. The Marceau coming in right now, Conqueror can't do anything about because the Marceau is behind an island. See if Golfman times the radar correctly. Yeah, there's the radar. Okay, yeah, so the radar was timed okay. There's 6 seconds before the Conqueror can see it. So that Marceau should die. I mean, that Marceau has had way too much freedom. Just way too much freedom to roam around the map and do whatever the Marceau wants. Ooh, this is going to be a tough salvo here for Golfman. Does manage to clip the Citadel and the Salem, not enough to kill. And like I said, that's Salem, right? Like, you see, in a position like this, Salem is just very, very, very annoying. You know, if you ignore it, it will punish you. Oh, that Marceau had so much freedom. Yeah, see, this is why if I was playing, I would have gone through that gap, maybe have gone north, regardless. I just wouldn't have gone this way to the edge of the map, to the 10 line. I would have gone to the north, blocked that side. It would have also prevented the Marceau from being able to come back easily because you have that radar threat. So, yeah, but taking yourself out of the fight like this by going all the way to the side is just not really the thing I would have done. But unfortunately, you know, because of the way the Hindenburg played and the way that the Conqueror played, this flank never, you know, really got secured. It was kind of left, you know, sort of with an enemy ship here, which, again, if the Salem knows how to play, and the Salem just came in at the right time, Salem would have been a massive threat as well. So I don't really blame Golfman for turning around to try to deal with this side, considering what his teammates were doing. Notably that very very special Hindenburg, my lord. But yeah, I mean, there are limits to, I think, what you could have done in this battle, Golfman. Just, you know, if you're watching this video, I think there are limits to what you could have done considering how badly your team played. I would say probably the only 2 things I would have, you know, sort of done differently was I wouldn't have been so aggressive in the beginning, even though it did pay off for you this game. Normally, I wouldn't be that aggressive in a Moskva in the initial early stages. And the other thing is, I definitely would have decided to just leave the side. I still would have left the side. Like with the Salem and the gearing, I still would have just left that flank to the team and gone to deal with the other stuff, because that side, you know, at that stage of the time was going to come towards your team and they were going to act as the pincer. So I would have tried to go and sort of create a blocking force so that they can't do that. Enemy midway, as you can tell, the CV is also a significantly better player because he's actually followed up with his team and is actually all the way in the B cap right now. So the Hakuryu on Golfman's team is yeah, just, you know, hiding behind the island the whole game, so not really great either. This is pretty much it. There's not much left to do. Basically, last surface ship on the team facing off against an enemy team that I think vastly outplayed them this game. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of one of those key lessons on, you know, if you are on the flank, you know, make sure that your flank is secure first before you decide to abandon. For his team, the Hindenburg and the Conqueror both left the flank when it was still not secure, forcing a Moskva to have to turn around to try to cover for them, and then not going well at all. Because realistically, what should have been a very easy fight for a Hindi and a Conqueror against a single Salem turned into this. And of course, those 2 ships, even though they survived and they went to do something else, they didn't last very long. They weren't very productive having done anything else. They just, you know, basically threw their ships away. The Conqueror, notably, was very confusing play. Not really sure why he decided, out of all things, he was going to turn back into the islands, an area where he has no shots and can get rushed down by a destroyer, versus having, gone potentially to the north, decided to angle himself away and then block the advance of the enemy force, which would have been a lot more productive as a conqueror, because you would have also been able to sit there, farm, and be this really, really annoying ship. Anyways, Gulfin comes right to the border, and of course Thunderous Salvo here, and the assault from the Midway bombers, and that is game right there. 185k damage, high caliber, 3 ships sunk, got some fires, got some citadels, but yeah, I think that lack of the extra superintendent charge, I think that hurt him, not maybe having that confidence to go up there and be a bit more of a blocking force, tanking a little bit more. I think those are issues. Not having that extra radar charge made him a little bit more passive with his radar and the hydro as well. All in all, I think that extra charge might have been a little bit better for him, but it still could not, I don't think, overcome the deficiencies shown by his teammate. The deficiencies displayed by his teammates are just astounding. Notably, that Hindenburg, that was some comically poor play by that Hindenburg and that Conqueror, and it just did not help matters. Anyways, Gulfman, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I would say, don't be so aggressive at the beginning. You can be more aggressive late game. Use the Moskva's durability to great effect if you can, to, play that stalling role if you have to, and make sure you have that extra charge off Superintendent. Other than that, I think you had a solid game as a whole. Just, maybe reconsider some small things here and there. Anyways, other than that, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, have yourselves a good one, and I'll talk to all of you again next time.